not going to want to miss what happens when this 2026 season gets underway. Now, here is where the story pivots from nightmare to something else entirely. Hamilton did not spend the winter feeling sorry for himself. He spent it dismantling every piece of his operation and rebuilding it from scratch. He split with his longtime manager Mark Hines. Ferrari moved race engineer Riccardo Adami to a different role and replaced him with Carlo Santi, the engineer who had previously worked with Kimi Räikkönen. Hamilton undertook a complete physical rebuild, telling Sky Sports in Bahrain that he had spent the break getting his body and his mind to a much better place, and that he genuinely felt personally in the best place he had been in a long, long time. But the most significant change was not about Hamilton's body or his management team. It was about the car. On February 18th, during the Bahrain pre-season test press conference, Hamilton revealed something that reframes his entire Ferrari future. He said, "Last year we were locked into a car that ultimately I inherited. This is a car that I have been able to be a part of, developing on the simulator for the last 8 to 10 months. And so, a bit of my DNA is within it. I am more connected to this one, for sure." That phrase, "my DNA is within it," is not motivational fluff. It describes a concrete, months-long engineering collaboration between Hamilton and Ferrari's design team that fundamentally separates the SF26 from the SF25 in ways that go far beyond normal year-to-year development. Hamilton spent 8 to 10 months in Ferrari's Maranello simulator, providing detailed feedback that directly shaped the SF26's design philosophy. According to multiple reports, his input covered power unit delivery, suspension characteristics, brake distribution, steering wheel ergonomics, and overall car balance. He reportedly requested a personal one-on-one meeting with Ferrari's power unit technical director Enrico Gualtieri during the 2025 Belgian Grand Prix, specifically to discuss the 2026 engine. He offered comparative insights drawn from his championship winning years at Mercedes, effectively giving Ferrari a window into what a title-winning power unit feels like from the cockpit. Gualtieri confirmed publicly that Hamilton's feedback was invaluable, and Ferrari actually listened. Both Hamilton and Leclerc had pushed hard to abandon the pull-rod front suspension that plagued the SF25, and Ferrari obliged, switching to push-rod suspension at both front and rear for the first time since 2010. Hamilton had also emphasised prioritising aerodynamic development over mechanical solutions, feedback that Ferrari initially ignored during 2025, but incorporated directly into the SF26's design philosophy. According to La Gazzetta dello Sport, Ferrari significantly increased the level of influence afforded to its drivers in the 2026 development programme. This is the critical difference between 2025 and 2026. Hamilton did not just show up and drive someone else's car. He spent nearly a year helping build this one. But Hamilton's involvement would not matter much if the car itself was not competitive. And this is where the 2026 regulation changes become the most important piece of the puzzle. The 2026 technical regulations represent the largest overhaul Formula One has seen in years. And the specific changes address almost every characteristic that made the ground effect era so difficult for Hamilton's natural driving style. Here is what is changing and why it matters. The Venturi tunnels that generated massive downforce through the floor since 2022 are largely gone. The new floor designs are flatter and, critically, far less ride height sensitive. This was the precise issue that haunted Hamilton for 4 straight years. The ground effect cars rewarded drivers who carried high minimum speed through corners, a smooth, momentum-based approach. Hamilton's strength has always been the opposite: late braking, aggressive turn-in, getting on the power early. The ground effect philosophy punished his style. Sky Sports reporter Craig Slater explained it directly. A side effect of the ground effect era was that late braking drivers like Hamilton were at a disadvantage because it was better to carry higher minimum speed into corners, and that was not his style. Slater concluded there are good reasons to believe Hamilton will be better in the 2026 cars than he has been since 2021. The SF26 itself features several innovations that have turned heads in the Bahrain paddock. Ferrari introduced steel cylinder heads, believed to be a first in Formula One, exploiting the increased minimum power unit weight allowance to achieve more efficient combustion. The car runs active aerodynamics that replace traditional DRS and features a radical rear exhaust wing design that exploits exhaust gas flow even at low gears. Ferrari's 067/6 power unit reportedly covered the equivalent of 14 Grand Prix distances during testing without reliability issues, and the MG UK has been boosted to 350 kilowatts, which triples the electric power output compared to the outgoing regulations, while the MGU-H has been eliminated entirely. The early testing data was encouraging. Leclerc topped the final day timesheets in Bahrain by nearly a second. And McLaren boss Andrea Stella offered a telling assessment when he said that McLaren and Red Bull were probably very similar, but Ferrari and Mercedes appeared a step ahead. None of this has been lost on the experts and current drivers watching Hamilton's resurgence take shape. Jenson Button, who was Hamilton's teammate at McLaren and knows his driving style as well as anyone on the grid, has been the most vocal. Button told Sky Sports flatly that with the new regulation changes, he believes we will see Lewis Hamilton back to his best. But Button also framed the stakes with remarkable clarity, saying that if it does not work this year, he does not know if it is going to work again. This is the perfect opportunity for Hamilton to turn it around. Williams driver Alex Albon was asked during pre-season testing which driver the 2026 regulations would suit most. His answer was immediate and simple: "I think it's Lewis." Former Formula One driver Guido van der Garde told Racing News 365 that a man with Hamilton's experience can guide a team like Ferrari to a higher level. Van der Garde pointed out that with the new power unit and lower downforce, driving will be more stop and go, meaning braking late and getting on the throttle early, and that could really suit Hamilton. Even Ferrari's own Mark Jean said Hamilton is now at ease in the car, while former driver Ivan Capelli noted that Hamilton wants to put his bitter memories of the ground effect cars in a drawer and start a season where he gets back to being competitive. What is fascinating is the near unanimity of the expert opinion. It is not just Hamilton's allies making these claims. Current competitors, former rivals, and independent analysts are all arriving at the same conclusion. The 2026 regulations were practically designed to give Hamilton's career a second life. And then there is the Domenicali confirmation, which is perhaps the most quietly significant data point of all. Stefano Domenicali is the CEO of Formula One and a former Ferrari team principal. He knows the politics of Maranello better than almost anyone alive. During a Sky Sports Italy interview at the Bahrain test, Domenicali revealed that he had spoken directly with both Ferrari drivers. He told Sky Sports, talking to Charles and Lewis, "They are confident, as we should be." He added that what they had seen in the first few days of testing certainly seemed to indicate a much more competitive starting point than last year, and that he could see the right level of concentration from both drivers. Domenicali does not make statements like that carelessly. When the CEO of the entire sport, a man with decades of Ferrari insider knowledge, confirms that both Hamilton and Leclerc told him personally that they are confident, that carries weight that goes beyond typical pre-season optimism. Hamilton himself reinforced this during the Bahrain press conferences. He said his belief in the team is still absolutely the same, 100% faith in what they are capable of. He said that is why he joined and why he signed a longer deal. He knew it was not going to be an overnight thing where they had immediate success, and that more often than not, it is a process. 3 days later, he posted those 5 words on Instagram: "I forgot who I was." The full post was a love letter to the engineering process and a warning shot to the grid. Hamilton wrote that he was reset and refreshed, that he was not going anywhere, and that thanks to the support of his fans, nobody was going to see that 2025 mindset again. He said he knows what needs to be done, and he ended with a promise: this is going to be one hell of a season. So, where does all of this leave us heading into 2026? The Hamilton who posted that confession is materially different from the one who qualified last in Las Vegas 3 months earlier. And the changes are not merely emotional, they are structural. A new race engineer, a new management setup, a car built with 8 to 10 months of his direct simulator input, regulations that reward his natural driving style for the first time since 2021, a power unit that his personal feedback helped shape, and a winter spent rebuilding both his body and his mind from the ground up. The question is no longer whether Lewis Hamilton has the hunger. He answered that one himself. The question is whether a 7-time world champion, at 41 years old, with his DNA literally built into a car designed for regulations that suit his strengths, can translate the worst season of his career into the fuel for one final championship charge. Jenson Button put it best: this is the perfect opportunity. If it works, it will be one of the greatest comeback stories in the history of sport, and if it does not, we may never see Hamilton at this level again. For the first time since joining Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton is driving a car that knows who he is. If you want to see how Ferrari's SF26 compares to the rest of the 2026 grid, that video is on screen now. Subscribe so you do not miss a single breakdown this season.